Should I die before we mingle? Solve the mystery with this gene.
What are you doing?
The sand looked soft.
That's where Grisabella is buried.
Yuck, cover it up,
Guys, it's a cat, not her grandma. I wanted to tell you I'm a homo.
Don't you always feel that Gene's hiding something from you?
I think you're just being tested.
Gee, thanks.
Go easy on him. It's our last night together.
I'm gonna miss you, Gene.
Is this the last clue? Because, of course, it's killing my boobs.
I need to say goodbye.
Part of me wishes we could stay like this forever.
I don't.
Boys are so emotional.
We have something you don't. And that's real friends. Friends that are more like family. I'm not a prude.
Does everything have to be a show, or can you be real for once?
Yeah, what makes us friends? I have faith in you.
Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. The critically acclaimed new coming-of-age film DRAMARAMA has just begun in theaters, virtual cinemas, and all major streaming platforms. It marks the feature film debut of director Jonathan Wysocki. The film is a poignant love letter to drama nerds, late bloomers, and the intense friendships that mark our youth. So please welcome my guests, Jonathan Wysocki, and two of the film stars, Nick Pugliese and Nico Greetham. Hey, gents, how are you? Did I get everybody's names right?
Greetham, but you know what? It's
See, I like that. Good. I'm glad. Thank you. First of all, gentlemen, I have to tell you, I loved the film. I've watched it twice already. It is such a beautiful film, especially for all of us drama nerds that all grew up. We can all relate to all of this. My first question for all of you is, how are you all and where are you? So, Jonathan, I'll start with you.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. It's a delight to be on the show. I'm great. I am in Los Angeles. I'm originally from San Diego County, which is sort of where the film is set in Escondido. But I've lived in Los Angeles for quite some time now.
Great. And how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm thrilled to have you guys here. So, Nick, where are you?
I am in Los Angeles as well. Yeah, just up in East LA.
And I just complimented you on your beautiful hotel room.
Right. My room that looks like a hotel room.
Very, very nice. And then Nico, where are you?
I'm fantastic, and I am also in Los Angeles. I'm in the Valley. I'm in North Hollywood.
And right now you're sitting at a trailer somewhere, right? Because you just got off,
am.
right?
This is my home. Welcome. Also looks like a hotel. Yes, this is a trailer.
I love this. So listen, congratulations on DRAMARAMA. How excited are all of you to be a part of this? I'm going to start with Jonathan because this is such a big deal for you. It's your feature film debut as a director. Tell me how excited you are for the film.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I mean, it's it's really exciting to finally be able to release it wider, now that it is available on all the platforms. And I was really, I made this film to try to find, quote unquote, my people, which includes theater people, and it's finding those people. And it's just so exciting to get messages from people, private messages and emails about how much the film means to them. So I'm just delighted.
Great. And Nick, for you.
Yeah, I mean, this was just the most fun thing I've ever done. And it was my first film, so it was the best, and I love all the people involved, so it's been so much fun to be here for the whole ride.
Perfect. Nico, for you.
Yeah, this film is so special to me. I really, really love it like so much. And I love the people involved so much. Like I'm obsessed, Richard. I actually genuinely it's deep in my heart. So I'm just like I'm so grateful to be a part of it and to watch this film blossom and grow as this has progressed, and it's been a treat of mine. Really, I'm honored.
And Jonathan, like I said, feature film debut as a director. How proud are you of this film?
Oh, extremely proud. I mean, it's a lot of work, particularly because indie film is not for the faint-hearted in terms of the challenges that you have to go through to make an indie film. But I was really eager to tell something that was personal to me, and oftentimes that is the space to do that is independent cinema, and so I'm just really grateful, and I'm so grateful for all the creative collaborators I got to work with to make the film, including the cast. I mean, I love this cast so much. They're so talented and so dedicated and so much fun to work with. It's just been a dream come true, honestly.
Yeah, it's so beautifully cast. Like Jonathan, how did you know that Nick was perfect and Nico was perfect? Like, what sold you on them?
I mean, we had a great casting directing team here in Los Angeles, Meg Morman and Sunday Bowling. They've been doing indie films for a long time, including Waitress. They actually cast that in terms of their pedigree, and they were both theater kids themselves, and so they kind of knew what these roles needed to be in terms of that flavor. And they brought in a lot of really amazing actors, and in all 6 roles, I got to choose my favorite, and they all said yes, thank God. It's interesting because this was in the time when you could actually see people in the room, which I feel like helped me a lot because I really got to work with them personally and sort of see the range that they could bring, because everybody has to do some comedy and drama in this movie, and as well as the sort of goofy improv theater antics that we love so much about theater kids. And yeah, I mean, all of them, including Nick and Nico, just brought it to the room, and so it was not difficult to make those decisions because they were so fantastic.
Yeah. So for Nick and Nico, so when you first got the sides or whatever, like what attracted you to this film and say, I want to be in this? Nick, I'll start with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just understood Gene as a character from just seeing the description, the breakdown. I was like, oh, I get this character. And that really rarely happens. Like sometimes I'll see a character, I'll be like, oh, I get this character, but I could never play this character. With Gene, I was like, I get this, and I could do this. Like, so I was initially excited about that, and then the script is just so fun, and it's just this group of kids, and that's another thing too. When you read scripts, it's normally one kid, and then there's a bunch of adults or something, and so I just knew it was going to be so fun, and then I got to meet Jonathan in the room, and he was just this sweet, creative little soul and this director. And so from there, I was just so stoked.
That's great. Nico, for you.
I similar to Nick. Well, okay, so the first round was a self-tape, actually. Or for me anyway, right? Or was that, I think that was universally, it was all self-tape, the first round. And then, admittingly, I did not read the script in full until the callback, just to not get too attached. It's for my soul. But then once I was fortunate enough to get the callback, and I read the script, I actually had some conflicts that came up to do the audition. And I told my team, I was like, we have to make this work. Like, I will go to the callback, and in my I wore some crazy outfit to the callback, something I don't know, but I was so glad that I could make it work because Oscar and the script, I just understood, and also I I rarely get to play a really fun character. I've just played some mean guys my last couple rounds, and to play someone who's just genuinely a nerd, it was like, that's truer to me. So I'm like, thank God. Yeah.
So before we talk about characters and roles and everything else, Jonathan, would you explain what inspired the film? This is semi-autobiographical, this film, isn't it? Tell our audience what the film is about.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, the semi-autobiographical part is that this all started with me rereading my high school diary, which was a real eye-opener. And there were just elements in there that I thought were kind of interesting in terms of not just me as a theater kid, but also growing up in a very sort of conservative environment in the early 1990s and being in the closet, and how much I clung to my friends and how intense our friendships were, and how many sort of big dreams and hopes and desires we had as theater kids, as creative people. And so I put that into a blender and made the script. And so the script is basically about a group of drama nerds in the early 90s who are having their last murder mystery costume party before they go off to college, before they go their separate ways. And we sort of watch them wrestle with change and how much fear they have around change throughout the course of the night. It sort of has a similar vibe to some films where you have a bunch of characters together for a set amount of time before again, change comes around the corner. So it's sort of the inspiration and what the film is about.
Beautiful. And Nick, let's talk about Jean. I mean, such a lovable character. I mean, going through so much, trying to get, during the course of this party and everything else, goes through so much. Tell me what you loved about playing him.
Yeah, well, I think I saw so much of not only myself, but people I knew growing up in Jean, of just his identity and him he's outgrowing this group, but trying to make it work, and they're all going separate ways, and he recognizes that as being okay, and they don't really, and also just the coming to terms with his own queerness, and he recognizes that in himself and is trying to announce that to others, but also trying to protect himself. And I think that was what I guess not enjoyed most, but it was what I understood the best. But it was so difficult. My mom, when she first saw it, she was like, looked like you were in pain the whole time. And that is true. It was a tiring part to play because he's just so defensive and protective the whole time. But
Beautiful. Nico, for you and Oscar.
Oh man, I love that guy, Oscar. I also, Oscar and Jean are like the complete polar opposites. Oh no, did it freeze?
Oh no, you're still there.
Okay. For me, sorry. Oscar and Jean are so opposite because Oscar's not ready to move forward in life. I think change is just about the scariest thing for him, and he's very suppressed. And I think he deep down has some inkling about his own sexuality, but is very much like, I just want to be happy with this moment right now, and I want this moment to last forever. And I can also relate to that. He's so lost, and he doesn't want to grow up, and he fears the scary world of LA and Hollywood. I can relate to that. I feel like, and he just wants to he wants everyone to have a good time. He just wants us to have the best time and it be that forever. So I get it. He's like a little golden retriever puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautifully put. You know, Jonathan, you know, we've seen coming of age movies. I love them because we all went through that. We, you know, every kid went through the angst of trying to admit something to their friends or to their family or something. But what I love about this film is you've told it in such a beautiful way that's never been done before. I mean, talk about the themes and how you wanted to present the film, you know, how you wanted to get to those points.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I felt like, you know, as cringy as my diary was, I definitely wanted to sort of approach my former self and my friends as well with as much sort of grace and understanding as possible, knowing that, you know, teenagers are works in progress. Like they are not fully formed human beings, and they undergo a lot of change and a lot of, you know, trying on different identities, and so I was very interested in making sure that the film was not judgmental towards its characters, and that you know, the shortcomings that they had were as delicately handled as possible, so that we could see everybody in as much complexity as possible, rather than you know, as sort of two-dimensional characters. So, you know, it was really important to me to sort of show the nuance, you know, particularly because they're growing up in a conservative environment, and they, you know, they have a lot of parroting that they're clearly doing from their home lives that is coming out of their mouths, and you know, the way that they've been taught to see the world versus how the world actually may be. And I was just interested in sort of showing that nuance rather than you know, just being sort of, I guess, maybe simpler or more heavy-handed with it.
See, what I loved about it is anybody watching this film will see themselves in maybe more than one character, which I think is really, really great about this. For the two actors, for Nick and Nico, we talk about the thoughts of how beautifully Jonathan wrote this screenplay, and how it, you know, how people maneuver through life, and how, you know, we all go through these sort of things. And anybody watching this movie at any age will see themselves in this. Nick, I'll start with you.
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly it. And I've said this before, that although it is such a specific niche group that we're focusing in on, the themes of what they're going through are so universal. And exactly as you said, anybody at any age from any background could understand what these characters are going through. They all have something they're trying to hide. They're all outgrowing their environment, and some of them don't want that to happen. Some of them are okay with that happening. And that is adolescence. Yeah, you grow and you start to realize things about yourself and things about the people around you, and it becomes uncomfortable. And that's, yeah, we've all gone through it, or we will go through it if we're 5 years old right now. But yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, Nico, for you.
Yeah, and Jonathan just really did such a beautiful job of making it so honest with how like my friend group, we did a real issue comes to play, and like in the intensity and the stakes get really high, and to mask that or to get over it and to move forward, you like, then you start to joke, and then you go right back to like the comfortability of being like, you know, kind of suppressing it, or moving on so fast with the jokes and the play of it all. And I related to that so much, and Jonathan wove that in so beautifully, because if you know, when you watch a film, you see that happen multiple times throughout the night, and that's just so honest. And I think the characters are so beautifully complex and so relatable. I see myself in, I think, every single one of the characters at some point in the film. And I think that's a really rare thing for a film to have.
So I said the same thing. I watched it twice, and I look back, I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit like Rose. I'm a little bit like Oscar. I'm a little bit like Gene. It's funny.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, it touches on those things that we all went through, you know, growing up. That's like, you know, it's such a perfect film, Jonathan. I have to tell you this. You call it an indie film or whatever. It's so beautifully done. We have many filmmakers and actors who are making films. You know, how did you raise the money for the film? How did it all come about? That's the hardest thing to do, I think, making a film nowadays, is finding the money.
I started with a Kickstarter. That's, I literally kickstarted the film with the Kickstarter, and was able to sort of find an audience who was eager to watch a movie like this. We were able to raise the rest of the funds through private equity, which is basically friends and family that, invested in the film. And, it was, I think on paper, it was a hard sell, because it's like, this is going to be about drama kids. And it's like, well, I don't know how many people want to watch a movie about drama kids. I was like, no, but there's more to it. It's not, I swear. And so it's been really wonderful watching the film have its journey around the world on the festival circuit. And then now that it's released in so many countries as well, seeing, just that I was hoping that its sort of niche flavor was going to connect with people, and I'm really glad it has.
Listen, drama kids are in. That's like number one. Like I said, I'm so happy for you that you were like, that you stuck to your guns, and people are like, well, I don't really know. Drama kids are it. They're like, that's like a 10, and there's everything else below that. So wait, like Nick and Nico, the first time you saw the film, like what went through your mind? You must be so proud of this. Just seeing your work and see it all come together.
Yeah, we watched it together, and it was emotional. We finished it, and then we just restarted it a second time, and then we FaceTimed Jonathan after. It was amazing. I mean, we had so much fun shooting it, and so I think watching it just brings back all of those experiences, and then seeing it in this clear-cut story in front of us was just, you also like forgot about some of the memories, and then you were just in the world. It was so fun.
Yeah, and we had, Jonathan gave us the pleasure of a lot of improv moments, or he'd be like, do something different this next time if you want, or whatever. So there was a lot of bits where we're like, oh, which one is he gonna choose? Like,
right,
which one what made it, what didn't. So what it was just so fun to watch, and we all watched it together, I think.
Yeah.
And we called Jonathan, and we're like crying, and we're like, it's so cool. Yeah, I think I've seen the movie like 470 times. So yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Oh, I love that. So I mean, it's talk about a favorite moment, because you see the film. First of all, how long did it take to film, Jonathan? What was the shooting schedule like?
It was fast. I mean, we shot in 16 and a half days, so a little under 3 weeks. Yeah.
So you guys primarily were like joined at the hip for 16 weeks, right?
Yeah.
16 days.
I'm sorry.
And then the 16 weeks that followed it. Yeah.
No, it's like 16 days when you come to think about it. So you shot this before the pandemic, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
So
I will say it's like a good pandemic film to film, in a sense of like there's no background or anything, like.
Right.
It could have worked.
Yeah, it's one setting.
Yeah.
16 days. All right, guys, for the actors, like favorite pinch me moment on the set, or a favorite moment that you're like, oh my gosh, this was like the best day, or this is like the best thing that happened. For John, any of you can share, because our audience at BroadwayWorld will love that. Who wants to go first?
You're gonna choose, Nick.
I know. Well, I mean, every day was so much fun. It really was like, I mean, we've all said it was like summer camp, and we were joined at the hip. I mean, we were hanging out before we had to show up on set. We were hanging out the whole time on set, playing games. After, we would go and get food and do things. And I mean, my favorite day was there was just this day, we bring it up every Q&A, and basically Danielle had a bunch of mosquito bites, and so she was given Benadryl, and she couldn't get her lines out because she was slurring from the Benadryl. She was so drowsy, and it was just, I mean, it was like 30 takes of her just slurring every line, and it was so hot, and we just were all getting delirious. And although that was probably like the most time wasted of a day that we had, it was just like the most enjoyable and entertaining, and forever will be.
Someone accidentally gave her PM instead of daytime.
Yeah. They gave her drowsy Benadryl.
She was like drunk. She was like
literally put her to sleep.
Gone.
So Benadryl Day was a big one. What about another favorite moment, Nico, for you?
God, there's so much. It's such a lame answer to be like every day, but like genuinely every day. And like I can think of funny moments. Like there was similar to that one where I could not keep it together when Anna Grace, who plays Rose, she it's at the end, or no, it's not at the end. It's at the end of our game, our scavenger hunt towards the beginning of the film where she realizes that her last clue is missing. And she's like being all quizzical towards Nick and Danielle and Megan, and she like went on this improv rant about Danielle. And was like, she was like, "You look very suspicious right now with your big eyes and your buggy eyes." Like just like kept going. They like couldn't
Insulting like Danielle. Yeah.
Yeah, like Danielle the actress, not the character. It just, I couldn't keep it together. And then
it's like when you watch SNL and everybody's breaking during the skit, and I'm breaking. I'm trying to like keep everybody from laughing all the time, and I'm like, I gotta steer this ship, but I myself am laughing, and yeah, there were numerous moments like that where we didn't have a lot of time, but at the same time, I mean, just everybody just couldn't stop laughing. I also really loved the sort of clue stuff in the beginning where they're sort of running from room to room. There's this one take for some reason I always think about where we just had the camera set up and we just needed everyone to run from one room to the other room. And I asked them to do it differently every time, and every single time they would do something so crazy that I just lost it. I wanted to just keep shooting that for the entire shoot because it brought me so much joy. So it's, again, when you get to work with actors who are so creative, who are just thinking at the drop of a hat, who sort of bring that, what I call, sort of theater energy to a film set, it's just a joy. It's a total joy and so much fun.
Well, I hope you include a lot of these on the DVD, those extras. I hope Benadryl Day and Quizzitive
Jonathan.
And the
yeah, we want to see it too.
I feel like once every other week I text him about a blooper reel.
You have
to save it for the DVD.
Okay.
No, you have to. That's going to be the big incentive for people to get the because I still collect DVDs. My husband and I, we get them all the time, and I love like behind the scenes stuff, and I love gag reels and everything else because you see these really funny takes that are just amazing. And like you said, 16 days. What was the last day like?
Oh, the last day we actually shot that car scene between Nico and Nick, which is a heavy scene, and. They were so emotional, emotional scene, and it was kind of a beautiful way to end it, honestly, because it was, it's just a really great scene in the movie, and I'm so proud of their work in it.
Yeah. The festivals, I look at the festivals you've been a part of, and the reviews are amazing. I mean, I sat last night, I read like 22 reviews of this film. They are all glowing, so well deserved. I mean, I think you kicked off the film at the Outfest Los Angeles, right? The LGBTQ Film Festival. How rewarding and how incredible was that? What did that mean to each of you? Jonathan, I'll start with you as a filmmaker.
I mean, Outfest was wonderful because, this was the pandemic, and they not only made, the film accessible online last year, but then they also had a drive-in screenings. And it was this beautiful ranch in Malibu with for some reason there was a Ferris wheel there. I don't know why, but it was like the most magical way that we could have launched the film given the pandemic. It was really wonderful. And also, as a 90s kid, the drive-in vibe was also perfect. I was like, okay, this definitely is the right feeling for this film as a drive-in.
Yeah, Nick, for you being a part of the festivals and this festival.
I mean, I love Outfest, so it was just so so exciting to even be invited to screen. And then, yeah, the drive-in was just so fun. It was so fun and so perfect, on theme for Dramarama, and a safe way we could all come together. And my friends got to be there. It was so fun.
Yeah. Nico, for you.
Yeah, same. I only have such positive things to say about the festival itself. I think they do a really great job of I think their mission and their goal in representing really wonderful LGBTQ plus stories. And it was the first time that I'd like seen multiple films at a festival, if that makes sense, because they did a cool thing with like you could download the app and like on your TV, and we actually all had like movie nights where the cast of Dramarama would come over and watch other films. And it was a very special, and the drive-in was magical, and there's chandeliers in the trees, and you're like, this is cool. Are you crazy? Like, yeah, it was really sweet.
Okay, you all look like you stay together a lot. Like there must be like, text chains and
Danielle came over to cook dinner last night. Actually, we are. I told you I'm obsessed with them, Richard, and I'm not joking.
So how often do you see each other? Like text chains and like, how often do you get together?
I mean, the texting is always. There's always like 4 different groups that are happening. I feel like now we don't see each other as much just because everyone's like different places. But I mean, we're always in constant communication, trying to see each other as often as possible. Whether that's even just like we get a drink for happy hour or something. But
the sort of beautiful, unexpected thing is that, the film is based off of my friend group, and we're still together today. And then, this cast became their own friend group, which is so beautiful, and not, it's beyond my wildest dreams that they were able to create a friendship between them. So, and I think it radiates on screen. I think you can just see how much they love each other on screen, I just love that.
So I love with history repeating itself. Like Jonathan, you said you still have that same group of friends. You put together this cast. Normally casts move along, but it's like, oh my God, you're getting together, having drinks, having dinner, cooked at your house and everything else. I think it's really great. And you can see that in this film too. And like you said, everybody will love this film at any age, of any age group, or everybody will love this film. That's what I love about it. There's such universal messages in this for anybody in this film. I want to ask you all a question about growing up. Where did your love for the arts begin? And what were your earliest creative outlets? And when did you tell yourselves, I really want to be an actor, or Jonathan, I want to be a filmmaker? Jonathan, I'll start with you. Like, what were your earliest creatives, and like when you said to yourself, wow, I have to be some kind of artist?
Yeah, so my dad is actually he paints as a hobby. There's actually, the Dramarama is full of his oil paintings in the house. And so I was lucky enough, and my mom grew up in New York City, and she did ballet. So even though they weren't like working artists when I was a kid, there was this sort of sense of fostering the arts, and that the arts were something that were, that were just encouraged in the household. And I remember they took me to see our community theater production of Alice in Wonderland when I was like, I don't know, in first grade or second grade. And coming home, I remember being in the backseat of the station wagon, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be on stage. I want to do what those people were doing. And so yeah, I was like acting and writing and directing plays all through grammar school, all through high school, all through college. And then at a certain point, my love for cinema just kept growing and growing, and I transitioned into filmmaking. So I feel like I have had the best of both worlds in terms of theater and film. So yeah, that's my story.
Beautiful. Nick, for you.
Yeah, I think I was like 2 or 3 when I announced to my family that I said I wanted to be a singer man. So I would just walk around saying, I want to be a singer man. I want to be a singer man. And there's like videos of me watching like Britney Spears on the TV in my diaper, and I'm like dancing along. So really that's where it started. My first real experience of performing was there's this park, a children's park called Fairyland in Oakland, which is where I'm from. And it's what Disneyland's based off of, fun fact. But they have children performers, which maybe is illegal. I don't know. But they were holding auditions, and there were flyers at all the schools in the district for the auditions. And so I took a flyer from my elementary school and I brought it home to my parents and I said, I want to audition for this. I think I was 7. And I went in and I did Frosty the Snowman as my audition song. It was not Christmas time. I think it was like April or something. But it was like the song that I thought would showcase my voice the best. And then I did that. And that was like an 8-month stint of performing at the park every weekend. So that's where it started. And then it just was a snowball from there.
I've never heard this story, and I
Me either. Like I
was in the newspaper for the callback. There was a picture of me, and my family like took 10 of these newspapers, and I went around my elementary school and was like, and it's the back of me in a group. I'm in a group, and it's just because I knew that that's the shirt I was wearing. But anyway,
I hope you have that framed somewhere in this beautiful bedroom in this hotel.
Not framed here, but I know for a fact my parents have multiple copies. Yeah,
that's a fabulous story. Nico, for you.
Wow. Could you sing some Frosty the Snowman?
Yeah, totally. Don't know what
It's gotta warm up.
Yeah. Maybe later.
I see. The next dinner you're going to have at Nico's house or something, they're going to put you on, just so you know.
Yeah.
Karaoke night, baby. I knew my mom told me that like the day I could speak, I was like, I will be on television. And I think what happened subconsciously though as a kid, because I grew up in Virginia, I think I couldn't achieve being an actor if I lived in Virginia. I was like, I have to be in LA to do that. There's no other option. So I think I kind of put that dream like in the back burner, being like, once I get to LA, I'll do that. But then my outlet was dance. I was a pretty hardcore dancer. And I actually watched So You Think You Can Dance and was like, well, there's my ticket because I could be on TV and dance. So that was like my whole high school, middle school career was like working towards getting on that show. And then I moved to LA to be a professional dancer. And then I transitioned into acting like 2016. And I couldn't tell you how much I love it. Also, I couldn't do anything else. Like I physically don't have any other abilities. So I have to be an actor. There's no choice but to be an actor.
That's not true. You could be a social media helper.
A TikTok? Oh, helper.
No. Like,
I was like, you take that back. I see what you're saying. Like, I could manage your social media, Nick. I got you. I hate that. We need to.
We'll cut that part out.
No, it's great though. We all need someone on social media. I'm terrible at social media. I mean, there are people who are so good at this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, Jonathan and I had an in-depth conversation about it the other day, and it's just
No, but I love it. So everyone I've spoken to said, I can't do anything else. This is really what I do. Like you said, I'm an artist. This is what I do. So you have to live that. You love it. You obviously see this all. Jonathan, I was going to ask you, what advice would you have for young filmmakers or filmmakers at any age who want to get a film made? What advice would you give to them?
I mean, it's such a cliche, but it's make a film however you can, because I think all art is like a muscle, whether you're a dancer or a singer or an actor, filmmaker, and the only way you're going to exercise that muscle is by doing it. And so, writing is also a muscle. And so I feel like, unfortunately, people can start to, the bad side of your your confidence can get in your ear and tell you that, you know, it's not good enough or it's not perfect enough or whatnot, which I get, and I think most artists get. But you know, if you don't just sit down and do the work, you're never going to know, and you're never going to grow, and it's never going to get better. And so yeah, I feel like, you know, I mean, you can make a phone on a movie on an iPhone. Like you can, like when I watch these TikTok videos, sometimes I'm like, I don't think people realize that that's cinema. Like there's editing, and there's sound design, and there's performance, and there's production design, and there's camera angles and lighting, and people are doing it without maybe even realizing that they're doing it. And so I feel like, you know, people shouldn't let technologies hold them back if they want to make a movie. They should just start making a movie.
Yeah, beautifully put. Now, for the gentleman, Nick, I mean, being an actor, what advice would you have for someone just starting out? I mean, you're both on your way. You've got this incredible journey. You just made an incredible feature film debut. But I mean, what advice? We have so many actors of every age watching BroadwayWorld, all from around the world. Like, what advice would you offer somebody about trying to start a career now, you know, with the pandemic ending and everything else?
Yeah.
It's like everyone's starting at the same level now. Tony winners are, you know, and people who are nominated for stuff are taking 2 lines in TV shows now that normally would go to someone who's just starting out. The business has so changed, you know, and Nico, for you too, of course. Like, Nick, what are the things you're going through now that you could offer to somebody watching about sustaining a career or getting into a career?
Yeah, I mean, I also am very much at my beginning. So, but I mean, just as Jonathan said, if you want it, you go for it. I mean, it's going to be difficult for some people, and some people it won't be hard. But if you want it, just, you know, do it. And same as what you said, Jonathan, where it's like, if you have friends who are actors, get together and write something, or record yourself doing an already written scene, and just try to meet people and other creatives and send out emails. I think there's this thing where like people don't want blind emails, but I've interned on the other side and have seen that, like, you can email anybody. Worst that's going to happen is they're not going to see it, or they're just going to go straight to trash. So it's like nothing bad is going to happen. Just reach out to everybody, try to make connections, and just try to do it. I don't know. It's
No, because that one person you don't email is the person who is going to answer you. So you never know. It's like you said.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no, and there's the trash. I mean, those are your 3.
Yeah. I should point out, because he's way too humble, that Nick and Danielle actually co-wrote and co-starred in a short film during the pandemic last year, and it's
so good.
All the festivals, and it's really great. And it's a great example of, like, you know, you're just scratch that itch, like get your friends together and make something, because you never know what's going to happen to it.
Okay, Nick, what's the name of this film?
It's called Thank You for Being Here. And it's about 2 best friends, and one of them is having a pregnancy scare. And so it kind of get into a discussion of morals and relationships while they wait for the results. But yeah, it's a funny little short film we made in my bathroom. And yeah, it's playing at some festivals, and it was just a fun thing.
Congratulations. Good for you. No,
Thank you.
I wanted someone to bring this up, and I figured Jonathan would.
Thank you.
Nick.
Yes, he's my publicist.
Everybody needs one. Now, Nico, for you, like, just insight into the business.
Yeah, I think my biggest advice for actors, I think truly at any stage in their career, really, but mostly for one starting out, is like patience is like such a virtue, because this industry is so tough, and it's really it's important to like know that if you believe that this is something you want to do and that you can do and that you're working for, and you walk your every day believing that you are like doing what you're destined to be doing, then it will come. But I really believe that there's a time for you and a time for the person next to you, and it's so hard to like not compare yourself to every other actor of any age, or you see these wonderful performances and you're like, what? They're only 19? When, you know, like you can just easily compare yourself, which I think is like innately a human thing, but in this industry specifically, I think it can really weigh on you. And I urge I urge everyone, myself included, to like really believe that like what's happening for me and my journey is meant to be and is happening the way it should be. And in time, things will come that were meant for me. And I think it's such a hard lesson to understand.
I love that. Thank you to all three of you for being so honest, because we have people all around the world watching this. So I thank you for that. My final question is, what do you hope audiences will take away after seeing Dramarama? Jonathan, I'll start with you.
I think my biggest hope is to sort of be kind to your former self, you know, in terms of the awkwardness that you went through as a kid or a teenager, and just, you know, give yourself like a little grace and sort of know that it's normal. It's normal to make those mistakes and you know, go through those growing pains. I feel like that's like a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, because we wouldn't be who we are today if we didn't have that in the beginning. We're a combination of everything we've gone through in life. Nick, for you.
Yeah, mine is twofold. I want people to have fun while they watch it because we had so much fun doing it. And I also, you know, as we've said before, it's playing everywhere now. So it'll be playing places that are not so left-leaning and liberal. And I hope that because it can be so universally relatable, that people will find themselves relating to a queer character and seeing themselves in this queer character in some shape or form, and having that understanding become more widespread. I think that's partly what I want people to take away.
Beautiful. Nico, for you.
Yeah, back to, I guess, what I was just saying about patience. I think the timing of your life is completely up to you and your call. And I think for young kids who can relate to Jean or to Oscar or to any of the other characters, to know like whenever it's time for you to be completely in your body and feel as comfortable as you can with yourself, like that is okay, and to take your time, and to just realize like the most important thing you can have is like people around you that support you and love you and like lift you up. And I think this movie is such a great representation of that, and friendship and like true genuine love for each other.
Beautifully put. That's great. Well, once again, Dramarama begins in theaters, virtual cinemas, and streaming on all major platforms beginning on August 13th. For information and tickets, go to DRAMARAMAThemovie.com and just type it in, because the trailers are everywhere. Just watching. The trailers are all adorable for this film. I want to thank you guys for stopping by today at Broadway World. I've had a blast with all of you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
This has been great. Take care, everybody. And for all your theater coverage, stay with BroadwayWorld.com. Stay safe, everybody. Go to the theater and go see Dramarama. Take care, guys.